There are a lot of amazing people in morning television. I was just thinking then as I was collecting wood, I think there were only 3
Phillip Schofield opened up about how he blamed 3 people for his downfall on This Morning on Castaway, the Channel 5 3-parter that aired last week. But we can reveal for the first time today that the 3 people he blamed are Holly Willoughby and his ITV bosses, Martin Frizell and Emma Gormley. Now, Phil's friends have lifted the lid on the scandal to the Sun and how Phil was convinced he was sacked because of a coup thought up by Martin and Holly. His friends go on to tell us he now refers to Holly as the witch and uses an old hag emoji when talking about her. On Holly, Phil is more damning too, with friends saying he messaged her after he was sacked from the show and said, "You have brought me down." Now, publicly, although it seemed Phil had stepped down from This Morning after an unwise but not illegal affair, he now says he was sacked because of the bad publicity surrounding his brother Timothy Schofield, who was jailed for 12 years last year for child sex offences. At the time, it appeared Holly had no idea about Phil's brother, but texts between Holly and Phil from December in 2021 showed he did discuss Timothy's arrest with Phil and supported him throughout that period of his life. Now, in revelations made to The Sun, Phil also spoke to his friends about Qgate and the argument he had with Martin Frizell. Now, in 2022, as you'll remember, Phil and Holly became embroiled in a scandal where they were accused of jumping the queue to see the Queen lying in state. Now, although they hadn't actually done anything wrong and they later went on screen to set the record straight and to talk about it, before that even happened, text messages that we've seen at The Sun between Phil and Martin reveal Phil pleading with Martin to not go ahead. He described it as an ill-advised, badly thought-out plan. Phil said back then he believed it would backfire, and it absolutely did. Now, Phil clearly has an axe to grind and is still very angry about what happened to him. Now, Castaway on Channel 5 was Phil's big comeback, and it was, on the whole, completely successful.
I know what I did was unwise, but is it enough to absolutely destroy someone?
Now, we understand that the documentary makers behind that series, the 3-parter, have now reached out to Phil to offer him more opportunities. Now, we're sure Phil will be chomping at the bit, but this would be a worrying development for the people he thinks have wronged him.